What's up guys, back again with another video. Today we're going to take a look at the Pandoras Box King of Air 51-in-1 vertical PCB. The King of Air is the new multi-cartridge by the makers of Pandoras Box. Looking around the case itself, we notice that the design is identical to that of the Pandoras Box 4 horizontal version, right down to the PlayStation 4 looking case design. And as for the games list, here it is. There are some noticeable omissions, but otherwise it's a pretty comprehensive list of classic shmups from the 80s and 90s. So without any further ado, let's do some testing. So the first thing to mention is the omission of the 15 kHz display. Where is it? So with this particular Pandoras Box 4, I know other users are having similar issues, and I've since sent mine back for a full exchange to get a particular one that works with a 15 kHz display. As it stands for now though, I've set up a makeshift Supergun solution plugged into a 19-inch Dell 4x3 flat screen display in Tate mode. This is the best I can do given the situation that I'm in. And when you boot up the unit, you are greeted by another pointless intro very similar to the Pandoras Box 4 video. Fortunately though, this particular video is a lot shorter than the Pandoras Box 4 video, and it's not as annoying. Still, every time you power on the unit, you're greeted by this, and it does get old pretty quickly. Now, unlike the last Pandoras Box 4 video, I'm not going to critique every single game. There's a lot of them to get through, and I'm only going to really talk about the ones that have some issues or some comments I'd like to put against them. Now, Varth by Capcom runs really well. I found that the Pandoras Box 4 Horizontal Edition had some issues with screen tearing. Now, I'm not sure if it's just the fact that I'm running this on a VGA LCD type display, 31 kHz, but I can't really notice any screen tearing, and I'm very hopeful that once I pick up the 15 kHz version that actually works on my cabs, that the screen tearing will be gone. Now, I'm still a little bit skeptical about the AdvanceMame filter going away, but if they can eliminate the screen tearing in the 15 kHz mode, then I think that's certainly an improvement over the Pandoras Box 4 horizontal version that I've had before. Now, this is Kingdom Grand Prix by Rising. Now, this particular game runs well, smooth scrolling, looks vibrant, no screen tearing at all. Again, the AdvanceMame filter is there, but that's kind of expected. Now, the biggest problem with this game is the volume. The level that it starts out is really loud. It's about 5 to 7 decibels louder than everything else on the particular cartridge. I'm not really sure why, so I've had to actually turn the volume down to compensate for it. It's not a big deal, but it's the kind of thing that you don't really should be messing around with to adjust volumes all over the place. But as it stands, I can't really complain too much. I'm kind of nitpicking a little bit. Now, Dangun Fevron is very similar to Kingdom Grand Prix in that the volume level is super loud, as you can probably hear in the background. Otherwise, I can't find any other complaints about this. Runs great. Definitely an underrated shoot-'em-up game, and if you see the PCB going for a good price, which is easier said than done these days, I would jump all over it. If you recall in the Pandora's Box 4 video, you would have heard me mention GunNail. Looks really good and plays really good, and this is no exception. It's great to see it on the cartridge, but again, the sound effects just let it down. This is exactly the same playable experience as on the horizontal cartridge. I guess the sound emulation has just really not been figured out with the MNK driver, because there are some other games on the 51-in-1 that have the same kind of issues. Now, Daioh by Athena runs really good, but it does not support the 6-button Japanese layout. This is the North American ROM, I guess. So you're kind of just limited to the 2 buttons of the North American version. Otherwise, no complaints here either.
blows your socks off. What the heck? Careful on. Show 'em what you got. Radar contact. Tokyo, 2 o'clock, 45 miles, 1,800 knots from Korea. Coming out. Going at me immediately. Roger. Power up.
Now, Esp Ra was a game that I reviewed on the Pandoras Box 4 video as well, and I'm happy to say that it runs really well on the King of Air. No issues at all, good sound, and plays really well. Now this is an interesting one. This is Nostradamus by Face, and there is a little bit of slowdown in this particular game, and to be honest with you, I'm not really sure if that's part of the original PCB. If anyone actually has the original game or knows what they're looking for, please let me know. I think this game plays and sounds good, but I can't be sure, so I don't really have anything to compare it to. So please, if you have any information, just shoot a note in the comment below or just send me a note. I'd be very interested in knowing. And of course, Batsugun plays exactly the same way as it does on the Pandoras Box 4, with the loud and the over-distorted sound effects. Otherwise, can't really complain about this one. I knew what I was expecting when I first turned the game on. Now this is Final Star Force by Tecmo. The interesting part about this driver is there's actually no filtering on at the moment at all. So this game would actually look really well in the 15 kHz mode. And I guess on the Pandoras Box 4 cartridge, or the King of the Air cartridge, there's different emulators for different ROMs, and I'm not sure why they've done that. I guess it must be a speed thing or a compatibility type thing, but this particular game and another one are the only two games on the cartridge I've found that have no filtering turned on. The rest do, unfortunately. Raiden by Cebu is the same as the Pandoras Box 4. Looks good and plays good, but has the kind of slow sound effects that some people had reported. There's really no change here. Dimahoo by Rising on the Capcom CPS2 hardware, well, as you would expect, runs great. Capcom CPS2 is probably the best driver on the Pandoras Box 3 and 4. It's almost perfect with pretty good scrolling, good sound effects, and the sound is top notch. Now here's Thunder Dragon by NMK. Unlike GunNail, this one doesn't sound too bad. There are some sound issues that are quite apparent, but you can actually play this game without having it annoy the shit out of you. Now, I'd gotten some reports that Super X was not working for some people. Fortunately for me, it works just fine on my King of Air cartridge. This is a great, if not underrated, game by Mitchell, who obviously are very well known for the Pang series of games. And here's another NMK shoot 'em up, Thunder Dragon. Has some minor sound issues, not like GunNail, because that's its own kind of animal, but there are some problems. Otherwise, pretty good game, and the scrolling is great. Now this is Beastorm by IGS. Now if you recall the Pandoras Box 4 video, I was complaining about the slowdown in the actual ROM itself, which was not part of the original game. Now it seems like it's been eliminated in this version. The other thing I've noticed, like Final Star Force, is this one does not have a filter. So I can only assume that they have a specific version of an emulator on the device itself that runs a couple of ROMs that have kind of issues with slowdown just to keep the speed in check. As it stands, this is how I'd actually prefer all the games to be. So if anyone out there that is watching this video has any affiliation with Pandoras Box or is making the Pandoras Box devices, I've got a couple of kind of pointers for you guys. The first one is, don't worry about the 31 kHz VGA mode. It's not really something that most people are interested in. I get that it's an easy way just to plug it into a VGA type display and play your favorite games on, but with MAME and people having MAME PCs and Raspberry Pis and other kind of small devices like that that can run MAME pretty easily, there's really no point. The purpose of this cartridge, for me at least, and I guess for most other people that would be interested in, is to run quality arcade emulation on a 15 kHz display, whether that be an arcade cab or a Sony PVM or a CRT type display. So I would just say, forget about the 31 kHz mode. It's not really worth it. The second thing is, get rid of the screen filters. The AdvanceMame 2X filter that's apparent on this particular cartridge and the Pandoras Box 4 horizontal cartridge before it, there's really no point to it. Just get rid of it. In fact, it may actually help with the speed up of the emulation of some of the games that have some issues with slowdowns, as we saw with Beastorm that has a particular version running that is not screen filtered, and that's what I would like to see on every single game that's available on this cartridge and the horizontal cartridge. So what's my final verdict on the 51-in-1? I'm actually pleasantly surprised. This is actually a really good cartridge. All the games run exceptionally well, and I have really no issues with the cartridge itself. Obviously the biggest problem is the fact that I kind of lucked out and got a HD 31 kHz version only, but that's actually being addressed as we speak, and I'll have a updated video with the 15 kHz version as soon as I get it. Now I'm not going to go through all the games again, but I'll hopefully show you about 5 minutes or so of some gameplay just to see how it looks on the arcade cab and whether they actually did away with the screen filters or not. I don't expect them to, but if they can get to a point where the screen tearing is gone in the 15 kHz, then I'd be pretty happy with that. As it stands, it feels like Pandoras Box are actually listening to the customers and their feedback, albeit in kind of a roundabout way. But as mentioned, hopefully the next version of the Pandoras Box Horizontal and the King of Air will address most of the issues people are having with these particular multi-game cartridges. But if I had to give it a rating, well, I gave the Pandoras Box 615 in 1, a 6 out of 10, given the issues I had with sound, filters, screen tearing, and emulation. This particular one I think is better. I feel like that they actually put some thought into the 51 games that they had picked out. They didn't just slap on 200 shoot 'em up games and not really test through things. It seems like they did a little bit of quality control on these games. So as it turns out, apart from the 15 kilohertz omission, which will be addressed as mentioned, I have to give this a 7 out of 10. Obviously, there's some room for improvement, obviously screen filtering and things like that, and obviously improving the sound in some of the games. If they can get a updated driver set from some of the MAME drivers or the FBA drivers, assuming that's what they're using, I think that they can improve the emulation as well. But obviously, that's something that we would hope to see going forward. But as it stands, 7 out of 10 for this cartridge. I would actually recommend it if you can pick up a 15 kilohertz version, and I'll leave a link to the seller that actually sells them, and hopefully you'll have better luck than I did. But I think this cartridge is worth checking out, especially if you're a shoot 'em up fan and just want to stick a vertical 51 in 1 into your arcade cab, set it and forget it, and go from there. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll catch you in the next video. Hopefully we'll have an update when I get the 15 kilohertz version of the King of Air cartridge. But for now, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye for now.